Those who bring sunshine into the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves.
For cancer patients, fear is a normal emotion. Fear of what the future holds, what the process will be like, and what the outcome will be. But Pat Siry's story is different.
My name is Pat Siry, and I am a breast cancer survivor for 6.5 years now. As a child in Newport, Kentucky, I had one brother, 5 years older than I, and my mom was a single mom. My father left when I was 5 years old. Life was good. We didn't realize how poor we were because everything was so good. We were happy. And during this time, my mother got us into a little church in Newport called Christian Tabernacle. And the people at that church had so much love. And I kept thinking, if they loved me this much, how much could God love me? And as we grew, I made a commitment at the age of 10 years old that the church had been so kind to us and brought food to us when we really didn't realize how hungry we were, that when I got older, if God allowed me to have a good job, that I would in turn give back, and I was going to do the food pantry. And to this day, many years later, I keep the church pantry going. My mother was very proud. I lost my mom in 1991. My mom had a lot of health issues, but she managed to work 2 jobs to raise my brother and me. My dear brother lives in Georgia. He has a son and a daughter. My nephew is a pastor, and I have no children, but I grew up and I did have a wonderful man in my life. I actually worked at Cincinnati Bell with Bill Siry. He was not only my husband, but he was my best friend. And I am so blessed to have been Mrs. Bill Siry. Life was good until 2008, September. I had been retired and was working a little job 2 days a week at the Greater Cincinnati Airport. I had a dream, and God stood in front of me and said, "You have cancer. What are you going to do with it? Quit your job." I woke up in the morning and I was actually quite startled, and I said, okay. I said, "God, if this was really you, can you just tell me again?" That night before I went to bed, I prayed and I said, "God, I just need for you to make it clear." He said, "Be still and listen. You have cancer. So what are you going to do with it?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to quit my job, like you said, and I'm going to give you the glory every day that I have left, whatever kind of cancer it is." So, not even knowing what was wrong with me or what kind of cancer I had, I started searching the scriptures, and God pointed out this verse, Psalm 118:17. "I shall not die but live and declare the works of the Lord." The doctors told me that they would let my doctor know on Friday. So I called my doctor's office. He said, "I'll meet with you before office hours Friday." I walked in. He walked in with tears in his eyes. And he said, "I am so sorry. You have 2 kinds of cancer." I said, "No, that's all right. I knew it." And he looked at me and he said, "Pat, the one is a rare cancer. He said, we don't know a lot about it. And I said, it's okay. So what do I do now? He said, don't go home and give up. And I said, oh, I'm not. So 2 weeks later, I did my mastectomy. I went to the doctor, went to the hospital that morning. My brother and sister-in-law from Atlanta came with me, and we went in, and they kept saying, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. I have had such a total peace from day one about this whole thing because God had prepared me for it. I went through the surgery, did not have one pain, and I know it was because of nothing that the doctors had done. I know it was because what my God had done, because He was kind enough to let me know that and prepare me that I did have this cancer. I went the whole night with no pain medicine. The next day, I left the hospital at 7 p.m. Came home. My doctor called me 2 days later in the evening, said, how do you feel? I said, I'm wonderful. I said, when can I drive? She said, well, if you're not taking pain medicine now. I said, so I did. I drove the next day. Since I went through cancer, it was quite a journey, but so many good things have come out of it. Because of having cancer and going through some of the trials and tribulations that we go through on a journey like this, I've become a much stronger person. I had someone say to me, why you? Why did you have cancer? Why not me, friends? Why not me? And because of this, a gentleman actually had written a little book with cancer survivors, all kinds of cancer survivors. It wasn't just breast cancer. And the name of the book, ironically, was Why Me? Why Not Me? I've been able to talk to so many other people. I've been able to share my story at my little church on more than one occasion. I've given my testimony in different locations, but mainly I've been able to realize that every day is a gift. And as far as I have wings, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have been nominated. I'm blessed to have been nominated. But I'm a winner because I'm alive and I'm able to share my story with a few more people. Because through this, I've grown so much, and I just realize all the blessings I have. I know without a doubt that God has spoken to me on 3 occasions. I can share one of them that I have shared with a lot of friends that my family's aware of. My mother had gone into a coma and she was dying. And I was sitting in my office at Cincinnati Bell, and God said, you be at the hospital tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I called my boss, I called my husband. I was at the hospital the next morning at 9:45 to make sure I wasn't late. At 10 o'clock, they let me go in to see my mother. The doctor was standing at the desk. I said, how is she? And he said, it's over. And I said, no, something's gonna happen here in a minute. And he looked at me. I went into my mother's room. She was hooked to so many tubes and machines. I picked her head up in my arms and I said, Mom, just know I love you so much. And know it's okay to go. It's okay because I know where you're going. And with this, she opened her eyes. She pulled tubes out. She pulled hoses out. And she sat up in bed with a glow I've never seen my mom have. She said, I have been to heaven and I saw Jesus. I know he spoke to me then. He spoke to me on one other occasion, and I felt it was a challenge to go get my car repaired, which I had only been to the car dealer the week before. And when I called to make an appointment, they thought I was nuts, but I followed, I obeyed. And it turned out to be a very emotional day that day. There was a woman with 3 small children that had been to Chicago to visit relatives and was on her way to South Carolina home, and her engine blew. And when I walked in the car dealership, I said, God, why am I here? These people think I'm nuts. I was just here. And I saw the children, and I went to the service manager, and I said, what's going on? And he told me the story. And I said, I gave him my credit card and said, put her an engine in, because that's why I'm here. The owner called me in his office and said, well, if you can do that, we can pay half. So I said, we split the engine. The 3rd time he spoke to me is when I had cancer. I know that God is real. I know he's there, and I know he's faithful, and I know he has always been there. And I know without a doubt that because he told me ahead of time, it prepared me, and I grew closer to him. And through that faith, I had not one fear.